progress. We are here on Bodylynx with Dennis Yeddo. I gotta tell people this is take 3 for us.
Yeah,
Dennis has
right.
been a great sport, but
And
because of technical difficulties, I get to see him many, many times. So that's a
it has
great thing.
it has been a pleasure. Three's a charm, right?
Oh, thank you so much. So wait, we have to go through the stuff that I am noticing right off the bat. Can we show the shirt, sir? Because I'm
Oh
looking
yeah,
at
we
what you
sure
got on.
can. That's the reason I wore it right there.
Look at that. And then there's something over your shoulder that's
Yeah,
prominently displayed, and I'm not talking about the deer.
right. Yeah, actually, yes, that's the great. I love those cups, those medals. Yeah, both of them, right there, and plus the bling that goes around your neck right there. It was definitely a pleasure and an honor to be able to be part of the show. So I mean, that's the rewards right there. Like you said, everybody works so hard to get to that point, to get on that stage, and everybody's trying to showcase their best, and hopefully you try to come home with a little bit of something.
And you came home with, what did you come home with? Hello, sir.
Well, I was fortunate enough and lucky enough, I give all blessings to the Lord first,
Okay.
to be able to take home first place in the open class, first place in the 40 plus, and then first place in the 50 plus. So,
That's a lot of hardware.
yeah, it is. But you know what? Like I said, there's many different ways to look at it. It's all well worth it. And like I said, this was the competition that I was able to be awarded my pro card
Yes.
in the 40 plus, and being 51 years old, you don't realize, and you don't think that you can actually accomplish such a mission, such an accomplishment as this. So it is a true blessing, first of all, to be able to be here, and to be able to do what we do. So yeah, I'll just say that I never in my wildest dreams ever thought that I would be over 50 years old and be able to get a pro card in bodybuilding.
Well,
So
look at that. Yes, you can. And yes, you did. So I know, because we've talked before, that you started this at a very young age, sir. So
yeah.
how did that happen?
Well, like I explained to you before, I was lucky enough. I grew up around the military all my life. My dad was in for 30 years, so growing up, I was around the military atmosphere right here at Camp Lejeune in the Marines, and I had two older brothers. And both of them were very active in sports, and my oldest brother was very active in lifting weights. So here he was 6 years older than me, and we always had weights and stuff in the garage. So he introduced me to weightlifting at an early age, and then I kind of took to it. And then as I got into my teen years, I was like, hey, I really kind of like this. There's something to this. And not only did it help me in my sports, I was very active playing sports, but weightlifting was been a huge factor in my life, my whole life. And I was like, hey, it makes me feel good. So, away from the appearance, obviously we all like to, look good, and we all like that factor of, oh yeah, the physical look looks great, but I mean, there's more to it. I mean, it's a lifestyle, and it's something that makes you feel good, something that made me feel good, and it helped me, stay in shape, because I've had asthma all my life, and I was born 3 months premature and had some medical conditions. You can't tell that, I've kind of outgrown most of them, but weightlifting in itself played a huge part and a huge role in able to keeping certain things at bay and helping me feel healthy for most of my life.
Well, that's awesome that you had, and that's why I love the OCB, because they promote, doing this naturally, and I love that people can protect all their organs and vital organs, and still achieve their goals and compete on a level playing field, because that's really important. Also, I love that you said, like you said, you started this at 10, and it's just been like a way of life. It's just what you do. It's just like your norm.
Right.
How would you say, or what would you say for people who are like just getting into it at this age, or in a later age in life?
I would think that first of all, later on in life, because I've had a couple times in my life where, I've backed up a little bit. Life happens, it comes at you before you blink of an eye, 2 or 3 years go by. I never gave
Yep.
it up. But there were times that, I wasn't as active in the sport and lifting weights. And that's just because of life. But, no matter what advice I would give them is find a good partner, find a good support group. It all basically comes down to being able to have, whether it's one person, whether it's having a group, to be that supportive, I guess, family. That's a good word, because you're like a small family, and
Yes.
it's like a small community, and everybody is there for each other. So I would say that, find you a good partner, find you a good support group, and that will help you go a long way, because there's going to be times when you start, it gets frustrating,
Right.
because you're like, oh, everybody wants to see these results overnight. That just doesn't happen. I mean, and unless you're just gifted and blessed, and I'm not saying there isn't people like that, there are, but
Right.
it's a process, and it's a commitment and dedication to it. And if you can find that support group, and I've been lucky enough to be able to find it. I can tell you right now, I've competed, years ago, just as a hobby, just something fun around here on the military base, just trying to keep up with the Marines is what I've been trying to do. And that was another key factor. I was like, hey, I work with the Marines. I'm not active duty, but I worked with them for almost 28 years.
Well,
So it's like,
congrats
oh,
on that. Hot dog.
thank you. So you got to uphold an image in my mind, and it was like, oh my God. So they've played a huge role. But find that support group,
Hmm.
and stick with it. Don't get frustrated, or don't get too frustrated after a few weeks in it, and you're like, okay, wait a second, I didn't think I'd see the results. Because people got to remember, I'm pretty sure, especially later on in life, that you didn't put on the weight, or you didn't let yourself go overnight. It would probably happen over a period of time. Well, you got to give that same period of time to yourself to get back, or to get where you
Yeah.
want to go.
Well, for
So
all of us, it's hard to give yourself grace. It's
yeah,
really hard to give yourself grace. For other people, you might be able to do it, but for your own self, for our own selves, we don't do that.
right.
So
Yeah.
that's a definite. And I love that you said that. What was the question I wanted to ask you? Yes. So, what did you learn about yourself during this process, going towards this last win for you? Like, did
Well,
you?
I learned a few things, and I'm gonna step back on just a little bit, and,
Sure.
like I said, talked about a support group. Well, I learned, first of all, that there are things that you can accomplish that you may not think you can.
Okay.
And you look at yourself one way, and you do things on a daily basis, and when the way you view yourself, somebody else might look at you and say, hey, you know what, you got some potential, hey, there's hey, have you ever thought about this? I got to give a lot of thanks to my girlfriend, Dina is actually an all natural, she's all natural women's physique pro on the OCB,
All right.
has been for a few years. She, at the beginning of this year, January, right after New Year's, she was like, hey, she goes, why don't you try to take this serious? And I said, hey, why not? She goes, so she's been the big influencer on me, and she basically, I'm not gonna lie to you, I've been in fitness all my life and been in this realm. That's what I do for the government. That's what I do
Right.
for the military. I when she took me under her wing and she says, let me get you there. She goes, you got potential. We can get you there.
Hot dog.
I did, and that support right there, and to have that support and to have that partner. That's the thing right there. Is people don't understand that. I mean, it's great to have a partner, a life partner that you're doing things with day in and day out. We both look at the same, look at weightlifting and look at life in the same ways. And that support right there, and to be able to share that with someone,
Yes.
that speaks volumes. You
Yes,
know.
it does. So you keep hinting at it, but you don't really, you haven't told us what you do at the military, because
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like,
Well, I
wow,
mean,
okay.
I, I work for the Department of Defense. I work on the military base Camp Lejeune. Like I said, I'm not active duty. as I mentioned before, I had some medical issues growing up, kept me out of the military. But, with my dad being in the military for 30 years, the Marine Corps, you have that mindset, you get that work ethic drilled into you, and you get the discipline and all that from growing up in that atmosphere, in that environment, that gets instilled in you. So, it's like in my mind, I was like, okay, well, I went to college, did all that, and I started a career. Well, you get career driven and you're like, that's what I'm going to do. And this is what I'm going to give back. A huge part of not only what we do, and this goes right into as well as, the bodybuilding and the weightlifting, it's giving back.
Right.
Here we are doing what we do, but, giving back is something I've always wanted to do because I grew up in the military and I've seen it. If it wasn't for what they do, we wouldn't be able to do what we do.
Right.
So I went to work for the government, and basically what I do is I help oversee 12 fitness centers and several fitness programs.
Just 12 people, just 12.
No, I help. I mean, we got a couple of us that actually that oversee the operations of the facilities and
right.
the fitness programs. But to me, it's a blessing to be able to do that and to give back. So and don't get me wrong, that plays a huge part in what's kept me in shape too. That's kept me driven.
Right. So I got it. But you're so humble about that. I'm like, when you said it before, you said it like, oh yeah, I oversee like 12 facilities. I'm like, wait a minute, how many?
Yeah.
Just 12?
Yes.
Just 12.
Yeah,
okay.
The military camp team's got quite a few people. Yeah, people don't understand it. It's actually a huge military base, and
wow.
it takes a lot. You got to keep these armed force people in shape, and we do our best. We do what we can.
Hot dog, but that's exciting. So now that you've got your irons and your medals back there, what do you plan on doing next, sir?
Oh, this is just the beginning. I can tell you that right now.
All right.
I'm not going to sit here. I'm not one to really, like, lack of better words, run my mouth and talk crap. I'm not going to do that. But I will say, this is just a start.
Yes.
I got the taste, and I'm basically I'm ready to roll. So we're already training. I mean, training doesn't stop. People doesn't realize that. There's
right.
different phases throughout the year that you go through. And, it's not all about staying on that stage prep, that stage form 24/7. I mean, some people might be able to do it, but, good on them. But the training's on, and like I said, with Dina,
yes.
also, being me and her, we're rocking and rolling. We have some, we got some things in mind. We want to try to bring to OCB. And,
all right.
One of them
That's
right
exciting.
now, I'm training for September. I'm hoping, I know I'm a little bit older, but I'm hoping to step on stage in September.
Don't let that deter you one bit.
Right.
Yeah, and that's 51 years young, sir, not old.
Yeah.
Hello.
Well,
we're young.
That. Well, anyways, we gonna bring a package, so you ain't gotta worry about that.
All right.
We're gonna bring it, but I'm excited too because she's excited as well. Like I said, we do it together, and both of us are in the same organization, and it's just great to be able to be a couple and to be able to do that and share that. And she's excited as well too. She's on her training regimen. I'm on my training regimen. We do it together, and it helps us stay on point. And
look at that, OCB, bringing families together. No?
That's right. And it's funny you say that too, because I mean that's one of the things that I actually loved about when I started competing in OCB and did a couple shows and all that. That's one thing I noticed, and that's one thing that stands out. It's family oriented. I mean,
yes.
And not only family oriented, but all us competitors are backstage. We're back there with our coaches. Some of us, we're all working for the same thing, but it's camaraderie.
Yes, a lot of that.
Mm-hmm. We all are knowing that we're going on stage and we're trying to present our package the best that we can, and we're all shooting for that first place.
Right.
But we're all rooting each other on. Everybody backstage is like, "Hey, way to go! Good luck." That's just a great environment to be around.
It really is. The energy is exciting. I loved, like, our last show, we had a mother and daughter, and then we had a mother and son. So I was like, oh, but like you said, even if you're not related, people backstage are still just like, hey, I'll help you with your suit or whatever's going on. right?
Oh,
You're like,
absolutely.
now we get on stage, it's still war.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
back
yeah.
here,
No, it's game on. Yeah, it's game on. And then when we're back off stage, hey, way to go, good to go.
good job.
But
Yeah. It's that line. As soon as you cross over to that stage line, it's like, okay, now the war is on. But
that's right.
on the other side of that line, everybody's just like, it's so amazing. Yes.
It is.
That's what we love about it too. As you know, we're a little bit psyched and we geek out about it, but we are excited, just as excited as you are. And we I mean, that's why we wanted to become promoters, of course, but seriously, we are. We remember, and we also know how it feels. So we try to keep that in mind when we're putting stuff together, you know, so it's not crazy on you guys. So it's not, you know, all coming at you at one time. And so you can actually take the time to step back and enjoy your moment. I keep saying that, and I believe that. Like, you got to enjoy that moment, because it does. It goes by like that. And then you're sitting there going, hey, what did I just do? Right? And like for you, some people even get to say, hey, did I just turn pro?
I know. Hey, look, I'm gonna tell you right now. You're right. It took a little bit. It took a little bit for it to sink in. It was like, okay, did I really just do this? Is this really real? And then when that card showed up in the mail,
it was official.
Oh, that was it. When I opened it up, and you know, it's so funny. You know, Dina, my girlfriend, she texted me. You know, when I was at work, hey, it's in. I'm like, open it up. She goes, oh, no. She goes, you're opening it up. I said, okay. And so yeah, that right there was kind of the eye opener. And I was like, oh wow, okay, this is real. And then it was like, oh, it's game on. It's like, okay, I'm like, okay, it's a different level, and you know, I'm not scared of it. It's like, okay,
no,
it's the press on. We're like, you know, we got some goals that we want to work on. We got some things we want to put together, and that's what we're working on. That's what we're doing.
Beautiful.
And I'm excited. I'm excited to, you know, push on and continue, you know, forward. And I'm not talking about just for this year, next year. I'm talking about I'm hoping to do this for a while, because it feels good, and I really enjoyed the atmosphere, and I really enjoyed the shows. You know, I mean, the show y'all put on in Myrtle Beach. I mean, like you said, from the second you stepped into, you know, I forget the name of that building.
The high school.
The high school. Yeah. I mean, you know, we're not even thinking. You know, I mean, us competitors, we're like all over the place. Don't know which way to step. Don't know where we need to go. And, you know, to be able to walk into a show like that, that's well organized, and, you know, that you're able to go in, like you mentioned a second ago, and not let us have to think about too much, except for we got to go through the motions, and we got to be on stage. Well, I mean, that says that says volumes for the organization and the way y'all put on that show, and it just helps us out so much.
Well, thank you. And we try to do better and better and better for you guys, but really, I do. We both do. We want you to be able to enjoy that moment, because it is so cool, right? I mean, and I know people don't understand, you know, like, let me get this straight. You get up there about a minute and a half, and you do what now?
Yeah, right.
You know,
I'm supposed to do what?
Right? And you do that why? And like, why are you so tan right now? And what's happening? Like, from an outside view, people don't understand. Like, you did what now? And like, what do you mean you cut your water? What does that mean, cutting water? Like, there's so many questions from the outside looking in. People are like, and you do this to yourself on purpose?
Well, yeah, right. You know, it's like I tell them at work. You know, they're so used to it at work. You know, because that's the, you know, we're around that field all the time.
Right.
That's what we do is fitness, but you know, they still don't do bodybuilding, and I'm still explaining things to them and trying to get them to understand the different phases. And you know, I try to explain macros to them. I try to explain, you know, it's a lifestyle, you know, and you not only you got to do your macros right, you got to sleep, you got to get your rest. This isn't just something that you just go into the weight room and start throwing weights around and think that it's going to happen.
Right.
And, you know, and then, you know, they're like, oh wow. So yeah, it's very cool to them. And then, you know, even if they're never going to do it, the good thing too, though, is, you know, it has motivated, you know, some of the people at work. I have friends that, you know, follow me now on Instagram, or I've been friends with on Facebook. I'm going to tell you right now, there's been several of them that's reached out to me going, you know what, Dennis, you know, I'm never going to bodybuild, but just watching you and seeing that, I got back into working out, and I'm going to get back in shape. And that right there, I mean, what more of a reward can you ask for?
That is amazing, right?
We can have a wall full of trophies and medals and all that. But if you can help an individual or help individuals out and just keep them motivated and hear those stories right there, to me, it
Yes.
doesn't get any better.
That is amazing, right? It's like, wait a minute, Dennis did what now?
Right.
They're like, maybe I should be like in the gym.
Right. And don't get me wrong, they're gonna poke their fun at me, and they're always gonna do their little jabs just because we're friends. But yeah, but I mean, if I can just help one person, or we can just help one person, I mean, you listen to the stories. I mean, you listen to the bios when you're at the show,
Right.
and some of these competitors, you listen and look at where they came from to just getting to that stage.
Right.
I mean, it's amazing.
Yes, the journey is
So.
incredible. Well, I'm excited for you, sir. I'm excited to see what you do next. I'm excited that we actually got through a whole interview together.
Yes.
And I want to follow your progress, follow your journey, see what you're doing next. You and Dina, what's going on with you?
Absolutely.
And that would be amazing to do this again. Really, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for your patience with us to get this actually done.
Well, I thank you. Like I said, it's a pleasure to be able to be in this seat right here, as many competitors are. But it is a true blessing, and I want to thank you for actually reaching out and giving me this opportunity, because I'm hoping even this, can help somebody out one day. So
yes.
I want to thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's been a honor.
No, thanks to you, sir. And we're excited for you. I'm looking forward to the next phase of whatever it is you're doing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, don't worry. We're gonna be there.
It's amazing. All right.